I cannot see your building. I cannot see your building. Can't see your building here. Can't see your building here. Can sort of see your building here. And you know what's really frustrating? The building that's here looks really nice. Looks really, really nice. This looks great. Is that it? Okay, it looks like you have a really interesting, exciting, beautiful project. You cannot see the forest for the trees, excuse the bad pun. 266. Museum of Future Building Design Competition in Helsinki. The name of this project is 2505662 whatever. The Hive, Helsinki's Heritage, a journey through era where every cell tells a story. Every cell. It's time to step into a world where Helsinki's rich legacy seamlessly blends with contemporary innovation. This seamless blending of things is such a theme in this competition. Explore cell exhibits that showcase the evolution of this city. Okay. It's okay, let's see. The proposed museum features a modern architectural design. This doesn't really look like this. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. It's a bit of a complicated looking thing. I'm always a bit concerned when I see these sort of angular, sort of floor slab pieces that are all just kind of clashing into one another. I guess it's I was going to say, I think it's an interesting lobby space, but then like this detail here is kind of poor, actually, the way in which this just sort of breaks through and hits the window. And this stair makes no sense. Like, I don't even know what that distance is. Like, does that stair sort of translate to the outside? I don't know. That's not occupiable space at all. So a lot of this doesn't make any sense to me. Is there another image? Oh, this is nice. I wish this was your building. Just being really frank about that. Like, I just wish this was your building. Not this. But like, I do like the lighting on the images, and I do think the overall quality of the presentation's fine and clear. It's sort of what the design is a bit messy to me. Like, even just the way this sort of fake lintel hits this weird edge, and I don't know, there's something weird about the proportions of the stairs. Just makes me think this is all very undercooked. So unfortunately, that's all I have to say about it. Although, yeah, basically this diagram here is really exciting and really interesting. I sort of just wish this was the project. So we're going to move it along. Next one. Okay. This one looks interesting. Again, another sort of floor plate that is sad and sort of falls, and it's a little bit, I don't know, playful, I guess, and it meets the sort of public plaza in a way. This one's called Helfen, where outdoor becomes indoor, and indoor becomes outdoor. Nice little sketchy interior here. Some diagrams. I do like the simplicity of the diagrams in a way, and the way that the building is sort of represented in just these series of lines. I don't like the way they step. There's this jagged nature to the profile that I'm not a big fan of. And it almost sort of undercuts the playfulness of the concept, which is just this swoopy line, which is really nice. I'm assuming that's what this is, and it's not like a ridiculously low-res image, but I think it is sort of responding to this in a weird way. So it's a little bit... I mean, I understand that you need to sort of... this swoop needs to be resolved somehow. Obviously, you can't have people just falling down your building, but the way in which the edge profile is articulated here, I almost wish that was hidden somehow. I wish it was sort of hidden with like an upstand or something, some detailing maybe. Again, it's quite nice seeing it sort of translate through to the soffit, the underside of the ceiling structure here. That's very nice as well. And this space looks nice overall, and this does look like a fun space to be in. A lot of references and diagrams. Let's go back again. I think this is nice. I think it's playful. I don't know if I'm completely sold on this concept of outdoor, indoor, indoor, outdoor. I mean, I can read the facade and the elevation here, like there is an interior and an exterior. So I don't know. Maybe the concept is more about how this sort of external circulation actually flows through and breaks through the facade. Is that what I'm looking at here? Maybe not quite. I don't know. I think this is a fun, playful little project. I don't know if it's going to win overall, but I don't. I think this is nice work. There's a big idea. The architects seem very committed to the big idea, so I think that's good. And what is she pointing at? I don't know. Okay, gonna move it on to the next one. Musead. Musead will serve as a catalyst for citizens and tourists in the city of Helsinki. This sort of looks like two buildings, green roof. This image is certainly better than the other image. Yeah, they just sort of fill out the site and they break it up and then they put a hill in it. Terraces and ramp. The ramp and terrace. Up and around. It's a lot of text here, but I think I'm pretty much getting your project from your images, which is a good thing. So I'm not really going to play too much with the text. Yeah, it's a bit, I don't know. I mean, I think this is a nice facade. And I think this is an overplayed idea. I've talked about this so much. I do sort of wish we just had more of this. Interior seems to be, there's a lot of detail in here, which I respect. It's been considered to a certain degree. Again, though, I mean, I've been quite critical of other projects. It does feel a little bit like an office building, not so much the lobby to a museum of architecture, although the stair is interesting. And it's funny how this goes from like this spiral curving stair into like this more orthogonal boxy stair. That's weird. Again, never a big fan of all this vertical timber sort of slates. They always just seem a bit fussy. Does just feel a little bit like an office building, though, I have to say. Or, I don't know, like a commercial property. Not a bad image at all, just that's kind of my taken away from it. So yeah, so I guess, again, not your fault, just the order in which I'm seeing this. The concept underwhelming, I've seen it quite a lot. These ramps don't work as well as people seem to think that they will. And then ultimately, no indication of this being an architecture museum on these 5 pages. Facade's quite nice. This is quite a confident, chunky volume, which I really like. The interior could be any modern build, so it's nothing particularly special in it, although I would be interested to see some of the other spaces. But overall, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by this one. So I'm going to move it along. A cloud for the city, a white page for architecture and design. A cloud for the city. This looks interesting. So I'm sort of reading 3 masses. Oh wait, have I got this? Oh, went backwards. My bad. A cloud for the city. A cloud for the city. Diagrams are a little bit small. I'll come back to those. I wouldn't say it's very cloud-like. It's interesting. Don't know why this little edge profile here is so jaggedy. This big swoop, though, is kind of nice. I like that. I really think, I guess that's sort of what this one is. I really got to see this at nighttime. It's interesting. I mean, I just sort of, it's a bit sad that I'm like propping up any project that actually shows me some exhibition stuff, like some architectural models. Really sells the idea of this project being a museum of architecture. These are references, I guess, but your references are sort of overshadowing your proposal, which is never really a good idea, I think. I noticed like a lot of projects will include the Guggenheim or Bilbao Guggenheim or the Pantheon in your reference images, and I just think all you're going to end up doing is making a jury compare these masterpieces to your project, which, let's be honest, at least 623, I doubt any of them are masterpieces. So you're really not helping yourself in a lot of ways. My point being, these are quite beautiful, exciting images, and I'm like, oh, I wish your building looked like that. And maybe it will, maybe it could, but like at the minute, it sort of doesn't. That's all. So you're sort of giving yourself a difficult starting position when you do that. I'm assuming these are references, because if these are actual, if these are images of your building, then I feel like an idiot. In which case, well done. I'm not familiar with these projects. I don't know. Okay, I think there's a big idea here. I think it needs a little bit more pushing, a bit more work. I don't. You say cloud, but then I don't really see cloud. I sort of see vase. I see glasswork. I see sculpture. I see fabric. I see dress. I see fashion. I don't see cloud. I'm just throwing words out there that metaphors maybe that sort of stand out to me when I see your project. I see these like swooping, playful, dancing kind of screens. I don't see cloud, but maybe I'm just not fully understanding the idea. And I guess I'm just getting stuck up on the name. Not everybody even had a name to begin with, so it's okay. But what I do see here, it looks a bit plain. Like it's just, I'm not getting enough indication of what's happening in behind this really elegant screen, or somewhat elegant screen. Like maybe the spacing of these elements, or the kind of the proportions of the panels here are a bit exaggerated. But like I can sort of see this, and I guess this comes down to it. I guess there's a whole mini series that I could be doing within this, where it's like Museum of Architecture or London Shopping Centre. And what I mean by that is there is quite a lot of projects that do feel like they're like these commercial buildings where you could imagine there being like a River Island, or I don't know what a Starbucks or a Pret could be in it. I know it sounds super mean, but what I'm getting at is, if I'm not getting any indication this is a museum of architecture, or this incredible piece of civic architecture, then all I can think of is compare it to places like any modern new build commercial real estate property, where they just pack it full of shops that exist everywhere else. And I'm just rambling a bit now, but what I'm trying to get at is, I'm trying to imagine your building, and I shouldn't be having to do that. You should be selling it to me. But if my mind begins to wander, then I have to wonder about the quality of the submission. Then maybe that's just a personal problem that I have, but this helps a lot. An image like this one helps a lot. And that criticism isn't leveraged to your project I heard about specifically. It's just kind of a general comment, something I'm taking away from this. Something I'm taking away from this process overall. Okay, next one. I have seen this quite a lot, right? We get like the 3 volumes, we get the ramp, we get the interior courtyard. I mean, I'm already seeing the famous alto reference in this building already, with the raised courtyard. And I just, again, like I was saying about references, like you're just making life difficult for yourself, having a jury see your building beside that building. That's all. I'll add a photograph of that if it is not, of course, in the reference pack, which I'm pretty certain it will be. But let's see what is here. The roof profile looks quite playful. For some reason from here I'm reading a real thinness in the facade, which I really like, find that exciting. I like these sort of paper-like folded buildings. Again, you see this here at the back. The openings look quite generous. This courtyard could be quite nice. Overall, there is something quite lacking in it from a detail point of view in terms of how this is actually being communicated, but it is somewhat being communicated effectively. So what do I mean by that? I don't know. Let's go on to the next one. Unbelievable sketches. Big fan of this. Sort of wish it wasn't grey and dull, because I've read this. I bet that this actually looks like quite an exciting little project. These sketches look great. This diagram is super helpful. They've called the project Frame. I don't think I'm going to read a lot of this, although these sketches are wonderful. Oh, it's so funny though, jumping from these sketches and then going to this sort of image. This sort of needs better lighting and better composition. I think this is underselling the quality of the project, and that I'm just really reading the blankness of the facade here and here, and it's dull, and this is all underlit. It's super dark. I can't get a lot of the detail in. and I think the project was working really well from 1,000 feet away to the sketch and the diagram, and then once you go into the actual photorealistic sort of detail, to the point where you can sort of smell and taste the building, it sort of falls apart a little bit. And when I say falls apart, what I really mean is it's sort of starting to show me what you haven't resolved yet. Like, what is the thickness of this? Is this a flush window detail? Is the glazing attached to the outside or the inside? Like, what is the idea there? How do you sort of negotiate people gathering outside here, and up there? In other words, like, how, if you're around the corner, how are you aware that there is a public sort of gathering space here? I'm rambling a little bit. I find the angle of this window a little bit strange. And again, like, we're very, very, very close to the building now, and I still have no sense of materiality. It looks like some sort of render or stone, but obviously this would need to be a bit more broken up than what it is at the minute, because I'm not reading any joints or anything like that. So I guess when you get to this sort of image, you really start asking these questions, I guess, or at least I do. Again, on the inside, yeah, it's such a shame. This seems to be a presentation of two halves. Very interesting, beautiful, interesting, underwhelming, and then underwhelming again, really. And I think it comes down to lighting, detail, resolution of that detail, understanding what the thing is made of. And I think I preferred your project when it was just sort of raw concept here, like this and this. But overall, I don't think it's bad at all. I think it needs a bit more juice here on these images. It needs a bit more artistry. It just needs a bit more consideration for detail. So, references here. Well, they didn't show that reference. Well, I'm going to show it anyway. But yeah, again, these sketches, super fun. So again, I don't think you're going to win. I think you've sort of taken the project half of the way, and then the other half was a bit more in the granular detail, which I don't think this submission has explored, at least in 5 pages. So I'm going to move it on here. Colo Manolo. This is a funky looking thing. I'm interested. Very atmospheric. A lot of fog and mist in this image. Oblique aerial view. I love reading that out. I don't know why it catches me every time. I just read it out when I see it. Okay, let's see what we have. Sculpture, sustainability, art forum. I've said this previously, I always get a little bit nervous when I see that word, sculpture, but let's see. A characteristic component of the city's ground is granite rock. In the nearby slopes, we therefore decided to create a building based on this material. So I guess we're looking at rocks. The museum takes a form of 4 rocky boulders rising above a designed hill. The designed hill, this has been such an obsession for so many of these projects, this artificial landscape. Okay, this section is really cool, really exciting. This diagram looks very comprehensive. Graphically, it's just popping. The site plan looks really interesting in a way. It's like they've sort of continued this they've continued this sort of site approach here from the commercial development, and then they've just fractured it in a way, which I find really exciting. And then this is us in section, looks beautiful, and this is sort of like a silhouette study, isn't it? Next image. I really just I wonder about how it would actually work, because the quality of these images now are highly graphical, not very photorealistic, which isn't a problem at all. But like, what are these strips? I understand that it's going to be granite, right? But like, how? I'd love to understand how you would actually build this. Who builds it? You know, like, how is it made? Is it looks like it would be quite a lot of craft to do with something like granite. Will it be stone? Based on this material. So granite rock. We decided to create a building based on this material. It's very fussy, but very exciting. I don't like how this sort of bridge looks like it's falling. It could be a trick of the perspective. Don't forget to play. I think this is a very exciting space. I think this is an exciting project. This is a stunning sketch. I love it. This page overall is fantastic. I love it. Oh. Okay, where am I here? Overall, I think I don't think this will work. It looks incredibly complicated. It looks expensive, tricky, and often the images are overselling the quality of the built reality. In other words, like it's the dream visualization of the project. So let's just assume then that the built reality will be less appealing than what we have here, and then I'm a little bit concerned. But as an abstract concept, I think it's really exciting. I think it's really well justified in a lot of ways. What about sustainability? The use of materials with a reduced carbon footprint, concrete with recycled aggregate, demolition waste from existing car park areas. See, this is all nice, okay, but what concerns me is the amount of labour that would be involved in sort of sculpting. Sculpting. I mean, there's nothing, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, there's nothing sustainable in sculpture if the idea of sculpture is to sort of excavate the final form. Like, what happens to that waste is what I'm getting at. Whereas you're sort of working with the waste. So either there is sort of a contradiction here either in the term sculpture, or there's a contradiction here in the term sustainable, or either you've sort of innovated and this is some sort of sustainable sculptural technique in which there will be no waste whatsoever in the construction of this building. I'm all for that. I could be completely wrong. I could be talking absolute nonsense. Maybe I'm not explaining myself well, but I'm skeptical. I am a little bit skeptical about this. Space is exciting. Again, diagrams awesome, sketches awesome, really nice, beautiful, tidy presentation. Overall, I'm not a big fan. I think I just have too many concerns, too many questions. Maybe those questions would be answered in the additional 7 pages, which I do not have access to, so I can only go on the 5 pages that I have, so it is what it is. Good work. Not sure if it will win. Moving on to the next one. I'm never a big fan of these circular ones. Rooted in the concept of celebrating the everyday, the building itself is envisioned as an oversized archetypal house. Okay, that's interesting. Through its simplicity and relatability, the museum invites everyone to explore and appreciate the ordinary in an extraordinary way. Anyone who's been watching this series knows that I usually just turn my nose up at text. I quite like that sentence a lot. And then when I look at the sentence and I look at the image, I am intrigued. My concern at the minute is it looks a bit grey, a bit green, a bit dull. Let's see what we got. So the museum as a house is a very interesting concept. Number 1, the house of architecture and design. Number 2, a new experience. Number 3, urban articulation. This section is super exciting. This diagram is very exciting. So we just kind of get everything under one roof, and then all those bits, exhibition, exchange, common ground, sort of blend and mix and play together. And then the conclusion is architecture museum, I guess. And they've managed to squeeze some references into page 2. Big fan of that. I don't fully understand how these little lumps and bumps work. It's very playful. I really do like it, and I think I like this project overall. My concern is that I wish these slates or tiles, we'll find out in a minute what they are. I wish they were more like this colour, like copper, or a bit more vibrant, a bit more of a splash. It's very dull, is all I'll say. But I'm literally talking about colour, and colour is important, especially in design. But this interior is fantastic. So I'm guessing these little bumps respond to the spaces inside, but I wonder if that's like a self-inflicted response, or if this is literally as small as the program can be within the volume that you've sort of designed. These sections are wonderful. These little sketches are fantastic. I do love this. The key space within the project aims to illustrate the strong values of communal living and ecology. The dimensions of this main space allow it to be divided into 4 smaller sections or combined into one large common area. So I don't know if we'll see a complete section, but what I'm assuming here is we have all the program condensed into a series of boxes that are stepped, and then we have this beautiful playful roof over it. And what actually I do kind of like, because I was about to say, wouldn't it be nice though if this sort of cloaked screen over the program was like a dress or a fabric? But they sort of have articulated it in a way that suggests that, which is really interesting and playful. although maybe a little bit fussy. So I'm assuming there's a lot of, there's a parametric element to the design to make that work. Next image, roof tiles. The use of earth materials is important to create a warm and welcoming architecture. Through the detail of the tiles, the big house adapts nonetheless to the human scale, these small elements of the design scale. Whoop. Yep, beautiful little image here. 1 and 2, love it. Roof tiles, structure, wood. Yeah, this is, I think as a diagram, this is a fantastic project. Personally think it needs maybe a little bit more work. Just, again, I'm going to keep going on about the roof tiles. I think this is a really exciting project. Oh, yeah, well done. Chapeau, if I'm saying that correctly. I love your project. I hope to talk about this again soon in a little bit more detail. Next one, panoramic. Nope, not a big fan of this. Not a big fan. Since origin of the humanity, the man makes the efforts to see far as possible, pushing away the horizon and to enlarge this knowing about his surroundings. Extremely messy diagram. And I think just sort of putting your building in frame with the sailboat really just sort of exposes how inelegant your proposal is compared to the reference in a way. Maybe I'm just looking into that too much. This is much less fussy and complicated than this. And this has been around for 100 years, a couple 100 years, the design. Much longer, obviously. I'm just talking nonsense, but I don't know. No, doesn't really do a lot for me. No, a bit underwhelming. I'm sorry, Panoramic. I'm not very into this project. Gonna move it along. X4TR5K70. This looks a little bit fussy. What's going on here? A couple of big blocks, a couple of half moons, circular curvy bits. This page is all blank. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I mean, this page is arguably quite blank as well. We're looking at this blank screen. I think there is something nice to sort of the contrast between this and this. I just don't want it or need it applied to the entire building. So I don't know. It's a really interesting, sort of rigorous interior. Column, just sort of twisted there at 45 degrees is always really exciting. I think the interior is quite nice. I think the exterior is a bit flat. I don't know, like a bit soulless maybe. Maybe it's just the nature of the black and white images. I think there's a lot of little architectural ideas here. A lot of, tectonic concepts that are all just sort of playing with one another. It sounds really harsh, but it feels a bit like architecture for architecture's sake. Although this is very nice. And this is interesting conceptually. And then this is an accident. And then this is what it is. I don't know. I don't love it. It's a bit dull. It doesn't have a lot of enthusiasm or joy in it or excitement. It's just quite, it looks like these look like photographs in a coffee table book of like obscure 20th century architecture. Like, it's nice, it's cool, but I don't know. Not a winner for me. Next one. This looks really complicated. It's like a little hamster maze. Really messy page. And a bit of a messy building too, to be honest. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. There's a lot going on, and the way the people are sort of drawn in this is quite crazy. Although I do like the little party diagram here. It's a very fussy project. That's 2 pages of insane diagrams. I mean, I just can't get your project by flicking through. So we have this like snake hallway maze thing on top of these orange vertical columns or screens. I don't know. It's interesting, I guess, but I can't spend the time sort of trying to get what I need from it. So I'm going to move it along. Crimson Waves. Sounds like a rock band. Inspired by the forms of finished design, characterized by the right balance between linearity and sinuosity. A lot of diagrams. I don't know. It looks a little bit like a razor, you know, like those. I don't know. Hold on. Big sneeze. I don't know. It looks a bit sharp and jaggedy. This looks nice, but it looks a bit like a velvet curtain. I mean, they say crimson curtain. Interior. Again, like there is just something about some of these lobby interiors. They just feel like office developments or something. I don't know. It's always because you've got. I mean, she's reading a magazine. This person, but it's all you always have someone like sort of hot desking on a MacBook. The only thing this image is missing is some guy kind of going through it on a skateboard. I'm just sort of seeing surfaces really in people. Like I'm just not getting an idea how the space works in relation to the museum. I'm running out of a lot to say about this one overall. I think it's just there's a building and then there's a screen, and then you've sort of divided the building itself into how many volumes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and then they're all sort of just kind of wedged together like these little battery packs. And it's hard to understand really which of these volumes is like the primary volume, like which is the main volume. Like, it's just not a lot of balance and composition overall, in my opinion. Not a big fan. Gonna move it along. We Imagine. This one is called 15 Degrees. This one sort of shares a little bit of spirit with the last one in a way. A place with low threshold, encouraging visitors to explore, wander, and connect. Cute little interior. Revealing new perspectives. The archipelago of Helsinki as a background. Wonderful page. Really beautiful. Really, really love these. Little sketches are stunning. While the outer shape of the building respects the urban grid, giving a sense of belonging to the city, the structure is rotated 15 degrees towards the open sea. This simple act has a strong spatial impact. The rooms have the archipelago as a view. All good by me. I like it. The only thing about this image really is the sort of balance between the solid and the not solid. It almost looks as though the building is sort of turning itself away from you here. Does that make sense? I don't know. Like it plays to this side and it plays to the other side, but doesn't play to the side in which you're approaching it at, which makes this kind of strange view to choose. I don't know. Maybe it's just how I'm reading it straight away. It's sort of like the building's turned away from me. I do like this interior. I mean, look, they've detailed the you know, the door handle and everything. It's been considered to a degree, which I really like. I mean, this is a beautiful little view out. I don't know how this would work with wind and rain, but I imagine this could be a quite wet lobby. This looks like a very nice project. Again, I have to say, these four sketches are way better than the sketch that you've sort of given, you know, the big page to. But that doesn't matter. Feel and Look mood board. I really like this project. I do think it's a bit too bitty. Way too many pieces here. I mean, this sort of reads to me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then it looks way more than that. I don't know. It's hard to read, I guess is what I'm saying. I think this is nice. I think, okay, maybe I don't love the project. I love the presentation. So, well done. I think this is good. I don't know if it will win, but that's what I'm going to have my own shortlist for. So, moving it along. Pluto. This looks a bit weird. Just looks shiny and clean and new. I don't really know what's going on. These sketches are amazing. It's so frustrating. Like, can we not just have these sketches instead of this image? Like, why do we have this image? The image isn't that good. These sketches look super interesting. I know I'm like squinting to see. I mean, I don't think they're real sketches, but they're sketch-like images, which is cool. Nah, it doesn't really. It's too many things going on here. Do like seeing the exhibition space. Hats off to that. It's very difficult though to understand how this roof works. Nah. My takeaway from this is that I'm a little bit underwhelmed. I don't find it that exciting. These look interesting. Maybe I'd have given it more time if I could read these a little bit better, but I'm gonna move it along. It seems like fine work, just it's not that exciting to me. Sorry, Pluto. Next one. This looks interesting. Big strip window. Looks like two intersecting blocks. And then that has sort of been applied to this little roof terrace up here. Big strip window, big stripped setback of the ground floor. The design concept reflects a deep connection to the site's history. Next image. Really nice image. Quite a big space. Diagrams look clean. Rotate towards the square and the sea. I really like these diagrams. I really like this diagram. Really nice image. These two guys here just hanging out on a canoe. Beautiful image, absolutely stunning image. Diagrams, very clear, very good. That's it. Okay, I think this is a very interesting project. I think it's very pleasant to look at. I think it's very clear. I think the diagrams are great. I think the images are great. My takeaway, it's a little bit bare. I wish it had a little bit more sort of X factor or a little bit some sort of secret sauce. In other words, it's like what is happening here is literally just seems to be applied all around the building. So it's sort of like the building has two moves. It has the intersecting twisty block, and then it has the really relentless horizontal opening. And then it's just sort of applied to the perimeter. I know that sounds really reductive, but what I'm getting at is it doesn't really help me understand how the interior spaces work. For example, this is quite obvious, but it's a gallery, right? Like you could argue that this gallery would work with or without this slot window. In other words, I'd love to understand really like what's happening in this volume and what's happening in this volume, and then what happens in that sweet spot, that intersection where they both sort of clash. And I'm sort of missing that. Because what a lot of other projects have done is at that point of like tension, it's usually an opening or a light well or an atrium or something, but they haven't done that. So that's what I'm curious about. So I guess in a good way, I want to see more. But that's like my takeaway. So I think this is a really interesting project and it's really good in a lot of ways, but I need more. So that's all I really have to say about it. Gonna move it along. I don't know if I like this big boat looking thing. A modern port warehouse for architecture and design. Formally, it's interesting. Like this idea of this sort of triangular warehouse structure with the peak chopped off is kind of nice. Interior is very nice, very warm. I love the wood. Again, though, architecture museum, maybe not. Could be an office building, not so sure. References are useful. It's really just these windows I don't like. I just don't like these little windows here. What is the idea behind that? Doesn't really say, does it? The exterior presents a clear, iconic silhouette. The leaning roof creates a human scale, avoiding a chasm-like street space. I don't know. Interior is nice. Parts of the exterior are nice. Overall, though, I don't think this is a winner, but I think it's a fun project. Gonna move along. Democrat. Birth of a new museum. A big shell-looking structure. Haha, eggshell structure. The site area is planned to be transformed into a public and comfortable walkable urban space. No, I don't think so. Not for me. Although the architects have clearly enjoyed working on this, which I'm all for. You can tell that they've enjoyed working on it because, I don't know, it just looks like a project that's been created by excited architects. I don't know what I mean by that. It's fine, I guess. I don't know if I like it overall. Big egg building. I mean, you've got so much wood, right? And this looks like a big metal and glass thing. This looks like a general plasterboard interior. I don't know. I'm always so picky about that. Also, I'm looking at this like parametric exhibition model, which I think is awesome. And I sort of wish the whole interior, the building was that. But that's just me. I guess this sort of is. I don't know. Moving along. Canto. We think the radical change needed is for architects to learn humility in the way they design buildings so that they can meet the demands of changing climate and affected communities, to be servants of global society who need more than ever a truly livable built environment. I agree. As a tree extends its roots more than the trunk, we want to give the feeling of strong connection with the environment. So they've sort of got the program and then they've built a screen around it. I mean, this looks very nice. I mean, this is wood, I'm hoping. Very, very nice. Oh, and this interior stunning. I really like this. I really like this. It's very nice. Very nice. Dark image. Very nice. Very nice. I sort of wonder if this is necessary, this exterior sort of perimeter screen. I don't know. I think it's a really cool project. I don't think I've seen many like this one either. Well done. Canto. I love this. I love the wood. I love the screen. I love the finish on the facade. The massing overall is what it is. It's literally feels like it's the site area that's just sort of been scaled. I love this little this little window here, the way it's just sort of the openings work within the module of the facade. I love that. Yeah, this looks like a very playful, warm, sort of human project. The scale looks correct. Shared stair, not a big fan of, but I'll get over it. The sort of metaphor here is nice. The concept is nice. Good. I think this is a good project. Hope to come back to this. I don't know how this little wedge works here, this little chamfered corner. Don't know about that. But I do like projects made out of wood, so that's good. I like projects made out of wood, so that's good. Next one. Nuka. Again, there's something about these like sort of like stepped blocks, like these little, I don't know, these little decks. I don't like them. Simple masses ×5 overlap city grid. I just think it's so much. It's just so much facade. Why can't it just be one big block? Like all this fuss for these little corners just feels so unnecessary. Like the detailing, and it's expensive to do, and it's labor. I don't know. Although the image is very nice. I do like that the facade has this texture and grain. That's beautiful. That could be very, very, very nice. The interior is nice as well. I like how these stairs sort of work, although it is a little bit bare. It's nice. Again, I think that I was saying about how it would be nice to see how those sort of points of intersection work on the inside. On a previous project, this is similar in a way. I'd like to see how these sort of volumes respond to one another on the inside. Maybe that's what this image is. Can't quite tell. Because this could be in any of the volumes, really, or any of the spaces. Nokia. I think this is fine. I just generally am getting a bit, not bored, but like underwhelmed by this concept now. I'm seeing it quite a lot. Like kind of like the relentless stack of blocks going one direction. Multiple green roofs and terraces. But it's fine. I love this one. I think this is my favorite image. I'm really interested in how this facade works. Next one. This is like a forest. Why? There's already a park here. Like, just blend your building and move the park behind. Inspired by Alvar Aalto's idea that architecture is an extension of nature, this innovative museum seamlessly blends design. Yeah, been there, done that. I cannot see your building. I cannot see your building. Can't see your building here. Can't see your building here. Can sort of see your building here. And you know what's really frustrating? The building that's here looks really nice. Looks really, really nice. This looks great. Is that it? Okay, I'm just going to be really chill on this one. I'm not going to go mad. It looks like you have a really interesting, exciting, beautiful project. But I think it's being... you cannot see the forest for the trees, excuse the bad pun, or metaphor, or expression, or turn of phrase. I can't see your building because you've created this artificial forest and park around it that probably isn't really necessary. And that's really frustrating because I think what you have here looks really interesting. Like, I'm looking at this sort of, these like twin columns, this really strong vertical facade. Looks like it's made out of wood. Show me more. And having said that, like, the image is beautiful. Like, this looks like an incredible space, but I mean, what are we looking at here? 15, 20 years before you've actually naturally grown trees to this height? Unless you're just going to artificially plant them all tomorrow, which I don't think that you should. So that's all. That's a bit frustrating because this interior looks quite exciting as well. And it's a beautiful image. So yeah, I think you might have a good project, but I have no idea of knowing. So that's all I can really say. Moving on. Green Diamond. This looks kind of interesting. The Green Diamond, the Urban Collection, the Natural Shape. I like this, I think. Nah, I don't know. I think there's a problem with the scale of the material here. This looks like it's got some type of wooden grain to it, and it's out of scale. And it doesn't really have a lot. I mean, it's like, this is like carpet, and it's like an apartment, and nobody's moved in yet. There's not a lot here. I think I mentioned this in one of the first projects earlier. It's like, ooh, very nice, very interesting, and then it just gets let down. It sort of loses its quality as we go deeper into the presentation, and that's kind of my takeaway from it. Formally, I think it's exciting. I like the splash of green. I like the reference, even if I don't fully understand it. Where does the green diamond come from? I don't know. It's underwhelming, undercooked, a little bit unfinished, but these images are nice. So, Green Diamond, I wanted to like you more, but I can't. I just can't. So I'm going to have to move it along. Next project. Ooh, I feel like we've seen this one before, haven't we? All the boats. All the boats. All the boats. Crazy big drawings, which are cool. Very detailed drawings, which I like. But again, you know, these boats, as I'm going to call them, don't quite respond to a lot of the space. Oh no, wait, maybe I've got this wrong. Right, okay, so there's like a plinth, there's like a ground floor, and then there's the upper floor, and these must be the galleries, which is all of these little boats. Water lily terraces, open public library, summer terrace. I don't know. I like it when there's a big idea, but again, I'm going to be like really harsh and suggest that maybe this bottom part just sort of was your project and then you've added this. I don't know. I don't know. Because this just looks very fussy and complicated and unnecessary in a lot of ways. But it is what it is. I wonder about the scale of the cladding as well. It looks very thick, very tall. These boards look really big and chunky. Stair doesn't work for me at all, or the ramp or whatever it is. No, I think there's a big idea. I'm a little bit concerned that the idea wouldn't translate to a really good building. And that's based on the 5 images that I've seen. I don't think it's bad work. I don't think it's a winner for me. So let's look one last time. 1, 2. I mean, great drawing. 3, 4, 5. No, gonna move it along. Next one. This looks like a big basket woven facade. Lots of sketches, lots of references on page 2. I think there's something funny going on with the scale here. Either these people are huge or this building's very small. Right? I don't know. This looks like the size of a house. It's like a little pavilion. I can't work this out. Interior, piano's nice. I'm going off on one today, but like this looks like it's like the interior of a fancy restaurant or something. I don't know, it doesn't feel like a museum. Maybe it's to do with the lighting. It looks like you've got maybe the piano and then the lighting and everything is sort of throwing me off a little bit. Shared stair, useless, not a big fan. The facade has been considered clearly, lots of really interesting sketches. But how does it work, you know? I don't love this one overall, gotta say. Something funny happening with the scale as well. No, I'm gonna move it along. Oh, Unessa. This is nice. I always enjoy the ones that look like folded bits of paper, like origami, like little boys. Really fun little sketch here. Roof structure's interesting. Text is too small. Program plus idea equals concept. Okay. I think it's nice. My concern is really about the way in which it's communicated. Visually, this looks very sharp and angular, very science fiction, very Star Trek, and I don't think that was the intent. This is a very interesting interior. This zigzag atrium is really cool. Stair looks very shiny and plasticky, but I think that's just an image choice, not an architectural choice. It looks like a nice space. Again, like the idea of this, like I don't know if this is the idea, this is my takeaway from it. Like the folded paper motif is really beautiful. Sydney Opera House, Guggenheim, big references here to put in your project. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a little bit undercooked maybe. I think the style of presentation really is what takes away from it a lot. So many architects have gone for that photorealistic look, and what it really does is it exposes a lot of the parts of the design that haven't been considered or thought through yet. But I've talked about this in previous episodes. I think it's nice, I think it's interesting. I don't think it's a winner. Gonna move it along. Kivipunos, don't think I'm saying that correctly. At its most fundamental, the project is comprised of 3 interwoven architectural pieces: ground, floors and roof. The ground is conceived as a landscape of carved native granite. Does look like a little bit of a basket boy. Nice image, always enjoy it, seeing some perspectives from the other side of the city. Very atmospheric, lots of fog and mist. I think it's generally just down to what's here I'm not a big fan of. This looks very crude. The concept of this sort of woven basket-like facade, I almost just wish the whole thing was that. Instead, it sort of seems to be at odds with these strong structural stone columns that have a very strange scale to them. I don't know. Gonna move it along. Not the biggest fan of this one, although the presentation's very good. The open museum. They say it's an open museum, and I'm already counting about 8 different facades. Let's see. Diagrams are very nice. Programmatic gradient, porosity, open air museum, follies. An architecture that is open in many ways, spatially open towards the city in all directions, but also open through time, waiting to be completed by the interventions of a wide creative community. Very nice idea. It's a very playful looking structure. I don't dislike it. I like the little vibrant splashes of yellow throughout. I like this. This is very nice and playful. Sketches are fantastic. I like the collage-like elevations. I like this actually. This is quite nice. The museum is a simple infrastructure to be completed and expanded through the insertions of a municipality of follies, architectural pavilions that populate the 3 layers of the building. I think this is a really nice idea. And often some of the projects have nice ideas and then they're unable to really translate those ideas into a building that makes sense. But there is something kind of loose and underdeveloped about the building, which I quite like. And if the idea then is that the building will sort of be completed and is open through time, then I'm kind of open to this idea, which is very playful, very nice. Not sure how it would work overall, but I'm not against it, I have to say. I think this is an interesting project. And I like the way they've sort of resolved the site geometry here with sort of intersecting volume into this one. It's a little bit like a cake. And the stairs, a nice little insertion, little splash of yellow. And I've got all these little bits, all these little fun boys just kind of playing around, hanging out. I like it. I like this one. The Open Museum, I like this. I might come back to it later. And the sketches are fantastic. Next one. Archie Shed. I don't think I like this very much. It's very crude. I think it's working too hard here. It's sort of like, just let this be one thing. Why does it have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things? Sustainability, don't know about that. Flexibility, learning, openness. It's like a big greenhouse or something. I don't know. I think my biggest problem really is the way in which it's all sort of kind of articulated. These like folding columns that fall into one another. It's also a bit bloated and swollen. I don't know. I don't know. Not a big fan. It's got kind of airport terminal vibes. No, I'm going to move it along. Sorry, Archie Shed. I'm not a big fan of this one. I can't say that word. I don't know what this is. It's like 100 pieces of card stuck together. It literally looks like a physical model. The sketch is nice, but I can't really understand it. Lots of text. This is kind of nice. I just don't really like the way it's been shown. This 3D model isn't doing it any favors. I mean, this is a very nice space. Interesting space. Maybe it's not nice. I don't know. There's a really nice idea in this one. These glaciers don't really help. There's just not enough here to go on, I have to say. No sense of materiality. Diversity of the lighting system for the gallery is an interesting idea. Playful water terrace landscape, but I'm not seeing that in any images. Is that the water terrace down here? Maybe? I don't know. Oh, no, it's just lacking detail. I need more information to really make a call on it. So I'm going to have to move it along. I don't think it's bad. I love this image, I have to say. I love this interior. It's really exciting. And when I see this in relation to this, I'm like, oh, there is a project here. I just don't think you've gone far enough with it. So that's a shame. So I'm going to move it along. Where are we now? I don't love what I'm seeing at the minute. We sort of have this little battery pack at the back, which I'm guessing is all the back of house stuff, and it's sort of serving the front of house stuff, and it looks a little bit like an airport terminal. Yep, I think that is kind of what we have here. And then this big interior atrium is sort of subdivided into 4 more spaces with a perimeter around it. I don't love it. Nope, not for me. This is not a project for me. It might be a project for someone. Maybe it's a project for the jury, but I don't think so. Ooh, this looks very interesting. What's going on here? We'll get the Leams chairs in there. Nah, Sketches look fun, but no. I don't think this is a winner for me. Going to move it along. I can't say that word, I'm not going to. I love it when they start with a night image. That's really fun. The vibes are good on this one already. Diagrams, or these plans are interesting. These sketches look beautiful. I think from what I see here and from what I see here, I wish... So I sort of read this as 1, 2, 3. I don't know if that's right. I don't know. Lots of twisty blocks. Quoting Kenneth Frampton, the art of architecture becomes a kind of reality reserve, as Ignacy Sola Morales put it, a place where man can still find material and spiritual repose, a kind of enclave capable of withstanding as other the destructive onslaught of technological modernization. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about this one. This looks fussy and a little bit unresolved, I think. If we remove the tone from this central part of the plan, it's a little bit difficult to read it and see what's what. You've got these weird sort of acute angular insets that I don't love. They're fussy. And then when I look at the 3D, it's sort of not really there then. And then the 3D image suggests that this is made out of a whole ton of different stuff. And then you have this sort of fighting with this weird canopy thing. It's a lot of stuff. I don't love it. Gonna move it along. Sampo, landing place. It looks like a funky roof structure here, whatever's going on. Really nice drawings. But no, not, it's just, I can tell quite quickly that I don't like it. I mean, I do love the idea. I don't know. It feels like a furniture shop or something. You know, like you've kind of gone into like a warehouse building, like in an industrial estate, to buy a sofa. And you're taking in like the basement where there's like no windows or anything. There's like this salesman who's really just trying to sell you this sofa. I don't know. And he probably charging like thousands of pounds for it. And then that doesn't feel like this, which is like this big giant woven basket sitting on top of these glass blocks. I don't know. It's a mixed bag. It's a lot of different stuff. I just don't have the time to really go into it. Although I love the coffered ceiling. But you've got like this natural light coming in, and you've got all these artificial lights hanging around. I'm like, what is going on here? Shared stair. Not a big fan. No. No, I'm afraid I'm going to have to move on. There's a lot here. This looks like the quality of these images are fantastic. I just not a big fan of the design overall. Moving along. Urban poche. This one looks a little bit complicated. What is this? Redefining the new museum. What is this? It's a big sleepy soft boy. And then there's like this silhouette of this hard nut. Just kind of cracked into the middle of it. I don't know. It's a bit trippy, isn't it? Alto vase, first one of the day. I don't get this project at all. So the project actually isn't this. It's the little ghosty space in between. Right? In reimagining the museum, I understand it with the name now, but it's still like, oh God almighty. Your granny's not going to visit this building and is going to get that idea. So really, who's this idea for? Like, it's for other architects. And as another architect, I'm like, the idea's all right. Like, it's not that great. It's fussy. It's complicated. It's unnecessary, maybe. And then what's actually here isn't so exciting. But I can only say that about the 5 images that I have. Maybe your project gets incredible in the other 7 pages. I don't know. So I don't love it. No, don't love it. Moving along. Oil on canvas. Big green roof. This is a nice little confident building. Inoffensive, not hurting anyone's feelings. Rigorous. Considered. Decent. Don't love it overall, but it's not annoying me. This is a beautiful little image, I have to say. I like this guy. I like that I don't have to say an awful lot about it because I'm just getting a bit tired. Yeah, nice little project. Not hurting anyone's feelings. Nothing pretentious about it. No quotes from Kenneth Frampton. No highfalutin architectural concepts. Just a nice little building. It's nice to look at this. 1945, oil on canvas. Thank you for your project. I feel like I kind of needed this little one. It's nice. Moving along. Phobo. Front of house slash back of house. This is a big, chunky, tall looking thing. A little bit like a robot. Gotta adjust. Yeah. No two museums are the same, yet all museums seem to share two distinct features. The first is a visitor experience. I don't like this, it's creeping me out. It's like I'm being sucked into the building. Interesting interior though. I like the way this sort of whoosh, whoosh clashes in through this screen, which is quite cool. Yin Yang, cool model. But, I don't know, again, putting some OMA references into your project's always a little bit bold. I don't love it overall, but I think a lot of it comes down to the way in which it's been presented. This sort of hybrid 3D model with some Photoshop people or whatever it is in here. It's fine. I do like this diagram. It's really exciting. I just think a lot of this seems to be quite unnecessary, especially when we know that a project like the previous one, the 1945 one, can just sort of serve the brief. We've got all this extra stuff. It's okay. Gonna move it along. I have a big problem with shingles. They can blow off, get damaged in the wind when the weather's bad. And the weather will be bad on this site. I just need to make that clear. Helsinki, Finland. This one doesn't really have a name. This one looks sort of similar in scale to the previous one. Concept, big box, cut the big box, rotate the two boxes. Facade details interesting. Haven't seen a lot of detail work actually. But like, how does this soffit work? It's so interesting that a project that has a detail like this has such a lack of detail on the key images. Like, what is this big blue shiny soffit? Like, what is that? No, don't love it, I have to say. I don't know, I'm rushing through these today, but I just generally, Alto Vase, I'm just sort of I'm getting underwhelmed by quite a lot of them. Is that it? I think that is it. Oh yeah, that is it. Okay. 1 second. Let's have a crack at this again. Yep, just generally a bit underwhelmed by it, I have to say. It's fine. Okay, I think I have one more left to look at. Lato. Little sort of ziggurat structure. Flag. I've not seen a lot of flags, I have to say. I've not seen a lot of flags. Oh, really fun little diagrams, have to say. Yeah. Fun image. I like the pink sky. I like the flag. I like the crane. I sort of like the way this facade would work. Interior looks nice. I like the collage style of the project overall. I like the sketches. Lado, I like your little project. This is nice. I would love to understand how the screen works. It looks playful. The diagrams seem to suggest that it's well resolved formally. I don't know if I like the flag. Maybe I don't like how these like service cores and circulation cores break through the exterior skin. But it's nice. It's a nice little playful project. Green roof is not offensive. Lado, I like your little project. I think this is good. I might come back to it later. Okay, so that's it. I think that rounds out the first 300 projects. So we're sort of halfway there in a way. Before wrapping up the video, though, I just want to make it clear to everybody that's reached out that I am aware that the shortlist has been announced, and as a lot of you have pointed out, I've actually, of the 5 projects that have made the shortlist, I've actually only covered one of them so far. So what does that mean? That means the 4 remaining projects that have been shortlisted are going to come up in later episodes. I'm still going to continue through all of the projects anyway. Really what I'm getting at is I'm going to keep pushing forward. We've done the first 300. The next episode will be my 5 favourite of the third 100, and I'm going to do a breakdown on that soon. In the meantime, thanks for the comments. I've been slow at getting back at them, but I'm going to be getting back at them all soon. Keep the conversation going. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Let's just keep talking. Thank you for the support. All the best. See you soon. Goodbye.